last video, well, the last part of the video ended. My memory kind of ran out there. But what I was talking about is this one time when I put the dust cover back on the slide, it was kind of arched up in the middle here, and then when I just went to move it a little bit, it popped off again. So when you're done putting, when the dust cover snaps into place, a little bit of pressure right here on the top, just to make sure that, you know, it's on all the way, because it might click in, and if it does, that's good. It went in all the way. When I pushed it down, it clearly went in all the ways in that one go. Just thought I'd mention that. Now, we probably should have done this before we put the slide back down, but we still got to put the recoil springs on. Gotta guide them in from the back here. Go in fairly easily. When they go in enough, you take the recoil spring plug thing, cap, whatever you want to call it, and, well, they gotta go in from the side because in the front there it's made so that it can't go in or out, so you gotta slide it in from the slide. There you go. And push in the recoil spring. You can see this. Pull up on the springs, or make it a bit easier. If I pull up, I'm using my thumb to pull it that way to relieve the tension, because right now when it's in there, it's pushing down on the spring, and I'm just trying to make it easier to push it in, see? There you go. Just got to push it in there to make sure that the end of it is in there as well. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Over the other side. Just gotta feed it in there. It takes a little while, but it's only a matter of time. Once it gets in there so far, you take the cap, your recoil spring cap or plug, whatever you want to call it. Oops, too far ahead. Oh no. There you go. Oops. There. Now, we're down to a regular field strip here. We've got our four main components. The slide, the barrel, the frame, and the magazine. Now, right now the locking lugs are engaged up to the top. In order to bring those down, you press on the button. That's what that does. And you got to hold down the button on the back here, which keeps the locking lugs out of position. Allows you to put the barrel in. Then you push on this the locking lugs here. That brings them up into place. And they're not going anywhere. You got to keep the locking lugs up. And also, you got to make sure that these loose bits here are down inside the frame. So this here is the best way to put the slide back on. There you go. Now that the slide is locked back, you bring the disassembly lever back to the starting position, and we're finished. Perfect. Now, first few times I took apart the P38, I just figured I should give you a few things in case something doesn't seem right. It did have a spring left over. After I put the pistol all the way, I looked over and, wait, that is supposed to be in there. But I noticed that when I was pulling on the trigger, it wasn't double action anymore. I could only pull it back and then shoot. It went into single action. That is why you need that small pin on the right side of the frame, because that pushes up on this moving bit, and then it pushes up into a niche on the sear and it engages the sear correctly. If the spring is not in there on the knob that you've seen before, you won't have double action. Another thing is, when I put the slide on once, the barrel ended up coming off, and the slide came back more than it's supposed to be, like well back from this position. It was even further back. And then when I took it apart, I noticed that, oh, wait a second, I forgot to put in the recoil springs. Something of a perturbed moment there, but there's a few ways you can put this pistol back together that's not put back right. So yeah, just gotta keep in mind where all the pieces go, and if there's anything left over, well, obviously they're not spare pieces, they're supposed to be on the pistol. Anyways, I think we both learned something out of this experience. Hope you enjoyed the videos. Hopefully it's not too long and boring and tedious. Take it easy.